Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at the 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. Firstly, as per usual, we're going to remove the screwdriver and take a look at the packaging. Now, as we can see here, 11's box is cylindrical, much like the War Doctor's was, and you can see Matt Smith on the side here. This is a still taken from Series 5, so this release of this screwdriver, I want to say, was probably 2010. You can see spring-loaded extending action, lights and sounds effects, the usual kind of stuff going on there, clear window where the screwdriver would be displayed. Then rotating to the back, you can see some Lego mumbo jumbo, including instructions as to how to get the batteries out. It's by character options, and that's kind of it for the packaging. Now, this was the very first sonic screwdriver toy I ever got, and 11's is iconic because it is a very unique design. You had never seen anything quite like this before with a sonic screwdriver. Now, it's infamous for its copper colorization all along, especially prominent on the top of the body. And when you've kind of got this faux leather black band going along the center, which kind of the screwdriver body kind of thins itself out here, which is quite interesting. Then there's kind of like this fake marble white thing along the lower hand grip, which has kind of like a ridged effect going all around it, and then a thin little cap just rounding out the end of the screwdriver. But by far and away the most iconic part of this design are the spring-loaded claws at the top here. This is part of the extending function, which will show off in a little bit. We can see that there is translucent green plastic at the top, so it has a green emitter. And yeah, it's an iconic design, but it's not my favourite. And I think that this is just a little too big for a sonic screwdriver. This is when they started to get quite large in the hand, and it is a departure, from 9 and 10 screwdriver, which was quite small in comparison to this thing. But it still reasonably holds up. Now, the interesting thing about this screwdriver is this was the first release of 11's. And there have been re-releases that have done it better than this one. Why? Well, it's due to the operation of this screwdriver in particular. Now, we can see here in the centre there are two buttons. There's a smaller one and there's the big one. Now, the smaller one is for lights and sounds, and the big one is for spring release. But there's also this here at the bottom, this big red button. This red button here is really used for when the screwdriver is extended. Now, that's not to say that it can't be used for it in its more compact form here. It can, as we can see. However, the thing that just drops this one down a few points is the fact that when you extend it, this center button here becomes useless. So you have to rely on this one. Now, there are later designs of this that have come out, as I said earlier, which have perfected this. There is one, there were a couple that were released for the 12th Doctor because he shared the screwdriver for a little while. One of them, this button here, is operational for both modes of the screwdriver, and then there was another which just did away with the button completely, and it kind of had like a touch panel sort of thing here. It basically looked like this, like there was no button whatsoever, but it was, you know, pressure activated. Anyway, I'm waffling. So let's show the lights and sounds. So this has two sound effects, as was the norm back in the day. You get around about 4 nowadays. So the first one, if my batteries hadn't died, hang on. So that's the first one. It feels quite thick and meaty of a sound effect. And then the second, now, I described that one in my 10th Doctor screwdriver review as kind of sounding like the TARDIS is going off behind it, and you can hear it more plainly with this screwdriver than you could with the 10th Doctor's. It was a little bit more muted, but with this one, it's very evident. Now, this has a very nice bright green light. I appreciate that quite a lot. Now, let's show the spring-loaded function. So pressing the rectangular button makes that just shoots right out. But as I said, this activation button is now useless. You could try and stick your thumb in, and actually that black little button there is what that main button hits against when this is more compact. So you could actually stick your thumb in and get it to work. The batteries are dying in this because I've had this screwdriver for so long. But that's what you could do. If I just try and get this to resume. Now you can see in extended mode here, you have to rely on the bottom button. And you get the same sound effects as you did previously. But it is more cumbersome than it has any right to be. Just the fact that you are forced into using this in a reverse grip, it's just not very practical, and I applaud the later editions that were able to figure out having the multifunctional button there in the middle, which just makes this the most inferior version of 11 screwdriver that's out there, unfortunately. Now, as per usual, this screwdriver requires 3 L1154 batteries, or 1.5 volt batteries, and to access the battery compartment it's a little bit easier than the screwdrivers that we've looked at so far, and I quite like this because this kind of starts the trend of the battery compartment being better hidden. So what you actually want to be doing is unscrewing, well, I say unscrewing, but disconnecting the screwdriver like that by pulling it to the side and then literally pulling that out like that. And if you just hoist that bit up, then you can see this is the battery compartment. You still need a screw to lift the panel off, but that is how you access the batteries to replace them. I like that. For size comparisons, we can see that even in closed mode, 11 screwdriver dwarfs 8s. It is already bigger than the War Doctors. It of course is huge when compared to 9 and 10s, but if we extend that one, it still doesn't even reach the heights of 11s in closed mode. And just to show it off, look how big it is. Only the 12th Doctor screwdriver can actually compete with 11s in terms of height, but let's just tilt the camera up so we can see this when fully extended. If you get 11s up to maximum height, it takes the prize as the tallest screwdriver in my collection. And then just to hammer home that point, this is 13s on the left here, and you can see it's nowhere near as tall as 11s in closed mode. So final thoughts on the original release of the 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. It's fine. I mean, I've never been completely keen on this design because I think it is just a little bit too much. Now the 14th Doctor's screwdriver is taking some inspiration from it with these spring-loaded claws, but still, I mean, this screwdriver also is notable for staying around long past its expiry date because it was synonymous with the 11th Doctor. When the 12th Doctor started using it, there were lots of complaints about how it just didn't fit him. It was too ridiculous in how this thing started to be applied in its later years, because 11 had a bad habit of using his screwdriver like a magic wand, as did 13, but that's another story. And so by the time that 12 came along, who was a bit more of a practical man, him using this magic wand just felt a little bit silly. And then of course this was finally replaced by the sonic sunglasses. And then 12 actually got the blue screwdriver, which you saw a moment ago, and everything was right in the universe once more. It's an iconic design in its own right, and I can't fault it for that. I just don't like how impractical it became compared to, say, 9 and 10 screwdriver. Now, regards to this actual toy, this is the most inferior version of 11 and 10, of 11s, sorry, not 10s, he never used this, 11 and 12s, mainly because, as I've said before, about this button functionality and this end cap thing here, how when you've got it extended, you are forced to use this because that stops working. The later editions, which made the improvements, just are 1,000 times better. So I can't in good faith recommend you get this specific version of 11 screwdriver, but hunt down the 12th Doctor's branded version of this, because you will have a much better time with it, and you are not restricted to the amount of play options you've got with this. Unfortunately, this version is unrefined, and therefore I would say skip it in favour of a later release. So that's been my look at the original 11th Doctor screwdriver. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.